Hi, it's Guy DiMartino, a Northwest Indiana estate planning and probate lawyer. If you ever have any questions about an estate planning matter or a probate matter, you can always set up an appointment at indianaestatemeeting.com. Today I'd like to talk about the concept of real property and deeds, and specifically I'd like to explain the difference between a deed by joint tenancy with rights of survivorship and tenants in common. So you can have a joint tenancy, and one way that is easy to get the concept of a joint tenancy is that as joint tenants, pretend that each tenant's hand is on the property. Each tenant is able to use the property. Each tenant is able to use 100% of the property. Each tenant is able to do whatever they need to do on the property. But what happens at death is what's important regarding a joint tenancy. So if you imagine just like holding a ring, one tenant holds this end of the ring and one tenant holds this end of the ring. So during the tenants' lives, the owners' lives, they both are attached to the property. When one person dies, they're gone, and the other person gets 100% of the property. The property does not go through a will. The property, based on the deed, will go to the other joint tenant who had a right of survivorship. So that is something that folks will sometimes do in order to avoid the probate process. Now, the other way a deed can be termed can be the property is owned by A and B as tenants in common. So they still have the property. They're still co-owners of the property. They're still able to use the property. They're still responsible for the taxes of the property. But when one person passes away, the other tenant in common doesn't get the whole part of the property. What happens is that the person who passed away, their interest in the property will go to their heirs, beneficiaries, descendants. So that's the difference between joint tenants with rights of survivorship and tenants in common. At death, they are treated differently. If it's a joint tenancy with rights of survivorship, the deceased person or their family will lose all interest in the property and it'll go to the other joint tenant. If it's tenants in common, the heirs or beneficiaries of the person who passed away will have a right to the tenants or the co-owners' interest in the real property. If you have any questions about this type of matter, you can always give me a call or you can set up an appointment at indianaestatemeeting.com. I am Guy DiMartino. Have yourself a great day.